I just have to pull up YouTube.
And this, and we should be live. Yeah, if you can hear us and if you can see us in the chat, if you can see us, let us know in the chat and hear us and all that good stuff. Just had a little bit of a hiccup with OBS and Zoom, the wonderful couple that they are. Yeah, so move that up a little bit. I don't want people to see that. Maybe I should just put it right in my face. How's that look right there? That looks just dandy.
Mine's kind of like as retracted as I can make this right now, and it's
No, I didn't forget Logan. I grabbed him by the back of his shirt real quick. I said, "Let's go, buddy. It's time to stream."
yeah, dude.
Snagged him.
I'm gonna be real honest. I am about as unprepared for this as I could possibly be.
Well,
One, I forgot we were doing this tonight. I forgot it was Monday, and then you just texted. Like, I just got your message at 7:24, and I was like, "Fuck! All right, drop everything, go set up stream." So here I am. I made it.
All right, cool. Well, we're here.
I'm super unprepared.
I like it like that though. Isn't that the best when it just comes together last minute? Being on a schedule sucks. I hate being on a schedule. So yeah, if you guys can hear us, I'm sure you can see us. If you can hear us good, just let us know. If anybody sounds too quiet or too Gandalf, yeah, that's right. He's like, tell that Gandalf motherfucker to get in here because we got a stream to do. I was talking with him in voice box.
Shall not pass.
So, wow. Hey.
I'm still trying to pull up chat, so I have no idea.
Yeah, no, it sounds like we're good. Hey, Raging, can you hear us good? Somebody give us a little confirmation. Looks like oh good. At least the stream status is good now, so hopefully we're not skipping. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Can we get a one or two?
Can we get a X1 in chat?
If we're golden. So, yeah, all right. Monday stream. A lot of people stream on Mondays, but hey, I wanted to do it. Yeah, bro. Yep. It's great. So, yeah, big thank you to everybody. I am straight as an arrow. Thanks. Yeah, thanks everybody coming out. Appreciate it. And we're live on a Monday night. I had today off,
yep.
so I can be here right now. We can do this. So, all right, let's just kick it off. Logan, what are you vaping? I don't see a beverage in front of you. I'm sure you're scrambling.
I have a root beer.
Nice.
Nothing special. I have Topside. I have Citadel. I've got some Freeman's Trailblazer in here, which is a peanut butter butterscotch tobacco. And then I've got Dreamer, Goon 1.5, and Red District from Freeman as well.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Freeman.
Yeah, dude, I picked up their whole line, and I've just been kind of working through it, and most of them have been really enjoyable. This one is a strawberry banana sour apple.
Strawberry banana sour apple. That is a lot going on.
and it's actually really nice. Like you get a lot of that strawberry and sour apple up front, and then that banana kind of like
On the exhale.
calms it down.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. So yeah, I've just been vaping Freeman's for the past probably 4 or 5 days, just working my way through their line.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, we kind of scrambled last minute for the show tonight, but we didn't get to do it Saturday. I had some family in town. Saturday was going to be a big party night here, so I didn't want to, try and do this and have a bunch of noise in the background and that sort of thing. So we're here Monday night. But I got to ask you, I don't know, besides, how are you? How's your week going? Or how was last week, I guess I should say. But I also want to ask,
good.
How's the lemonade coming? Have you messed with it anymore?
I've got the lemonade version 3 right now.
What did they say? Did they say is it 3 to 5 days you should let it sit before you actually?
It depends.
Oh, it all depends. Yeah.
Lemonades and stuff I've been letting kind of steep for just like a day or two.
Yeah.
But like bakeries, like I did a strawberry and cream that really didn't kind of start coming together until day 6. Day 5, day 6.
I've only had 2 strawberry and creams, and the both that I've had, one was from Hometown Hero, and I forget where the other one was from, but it was always cream. There was no strawberry. It was just cream, all cream.
Yeah.
So how is this?
I mean, I've been learning. It's different depending on what you're going for. A lot of different flavors are going to take different steep times. Bakeries, deep bakery flavors.
Yeah.
Are really going to take 2 weeks of steeping, up to 2 weeks of steeping.
I wouldn't be able to wait that long, dude.
Some of your fruity stuff, you can basically shake and vape.
Sleeping under the computer desk. Hey, it's pretty spacious under there, buddy.
And what have you been vaping this week, Matt?
So, I was just telling our buddy Raging Vapor over in the voice box on Discord. By the way, if you're not in there and you're in this chat right now, you need to get in there. It's great.
80 members in our Discord.
It's great. It is great. So yeah,
awesome, I love the shout out to the Rise and Vape.
Hell yeah! Shout out to everybody in there. So I haven't really re-wicked anything, but I just got a vape box the other day, and I was telling a couple people in the Discord that they did a little collab with Charlie's Chalk Dust this month.
Yeah, dude, I love Charlie's.
The 2 liquids that I got that are Charlie's are this right here, the Big Berry. I don't know, the light maybe too bright.
Dude, that watermelon blueberry is one of my favorites.
So Big Berry, and then let me grab this other one real quick.
So good.
And I don't want to get.
That's what Big Berry is. It's like a watermelon blueberry.
I don't want to get too aggressive because I'm not really that much of a critic, but just one of those Grim Green, not for me. Just not for me. Charlie's Chalk Dust, the Campfire. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, I've never tried the Campfire.
Supposed to be s'mores, but when I vape it, and I tried it on 2 different devices, tried it on the Profile, and then I tried it on, was it the Passage? I think it was the Passage. Just Campfire, just straight up no chocolate, no marshmallow, no graham cracker, just straight up Campfire. So yeah, but besides that, I'm vaping the got that Dead Goat on the Arcless, and inside of that, something from my vape box. I don't really know how to pronounce it.
That's also Charlie's.
Oh, are they really? I didn't know that.
Pacamama is also Charlie's.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Pacamama, okay, that's the Fuji Apple Strawberry Nectarine.
Nectarine, yeah, that one's really good. Dude, I love the Pacamama line, except for the yuzu one.
Oh,
or whatever. Okay. It's a raspberry yuzu something, and it's I think our when we did an e-liquid of the week, we did that one at one point, and I think that's the one that ended up being a Patreon video.
Okay.
Because we bumped the camera, and it was just our crotch the whole video.
The crotch stream, I remember that. Yeah, that was a good one.
So I think that was that e-liquid tasting, but that one is the only one out of the entire Pacamama line that I don't like.
And I don't do. No, go ahead.
There's
sorry.
a blood orange banana gooseberry that they make that
what
is
the hell?
Amazing.
Yeah, the only blood orange I had. And it's
look up what a gooseberry is.
That's what I was about to say.
You
that's
don't know what a gooseberry is?
No,
look it up. You'll be like, oh, all right, it kind of looks like a fucking goose.
So
it's like a berry. It's like a little tomato with a beak. I don't know, dude. It's weird. Look up what a gooseberry is.
I'm gonna do that. So normally I don't do any kind of pairings, but I just want to say if you have this Pacamama Fuji Apple, if that's how you say it, it is fucking the bomb.com with this Smith and Forge cider. It just pairs so well. So,
Oh yeah,
Dead Goat and the
apple
Arkless.
fruity appleness. Yeah.
And then I'm rocking the top side with a new RDA I got in my vape box. It's that Yacht Vape Mesh Lock RDA, and I got some of Charlie's Chalk Dust, a Big Berry in there, and that's
I like
delicious.
the Big Berry.
Now this Mesh Lock RDA, I don't want to talk too much about my setup, but basically it's just spring-loaded like push clamps that you just push in, you put your mesh in, you release, and then it just grabs the mesh. So no screws, nothing like that. And the only negative things that I've heard is that like you can't put a single coil in there. The clamps just don't, they don't hold it. They're just like little spring-loaded things. So,
right.
But
is there any like profile mechanism where like
no, nothing like that. Which
just like a flat deck?
Which personally, I mean, and I don't know everybody's experience. What's up, Nate, in the chat?
So it's kind of like that old Bandy Vape mesh.
Yeah.
RDA.
So and like
flat deck.
I rocked the profile. I took the profile off of this to put this one on, but that spring loaded, that's gimmicky to me. I think it's gimmicky. I don't think that spring is strong enough. If anything, like once you put your cotton in it, the whole thing is just held down.
I've seen people actually take all the springs that you get with it
and just
put all 3 of them or 4 of them or whatever in there.
That's what I was going to say, is if you can do that or take some kind of a stronger aftermarket spring from somewhere or whatever and put it in, then maybe it's actually useful. But to me, it's pretty gimmicky. But the thing I love about this, which I won't be able to show it because the way my camera is, but dude, you can squonk the shit out of this thing. Like you can get all of your cotton all the way up above the mesh, like above the rounded part on the mesh, completely soaked, and it will not leak out the sides. So... And you get a 0.2. It's all Kanthal. You get 0.2, a couple mesh strips that are 0.2, and then 0.15. And I'm rocking this bad boy 75 watts on the 0.15 mesh, and it's pretty nice.
Nice.
But that's what I'm vaping. Like I said, I'm drinking this Smith and Forge hard cider. Picked up some of that fall time goodness,
Yeah, I have not gotten into like. I'm kind of in that denial stage right now. Like, I'm not ready for fall stuff yet.
Oh, you got to get out of it.
It's going to hit, like, any day now.
It's all about apples,
like,
cider.
You sitting here drinking a cider makes me want a cider. And we have a local cidery right up near us, and it's so good.
The spitback isn't too bad, just to reply to Matt McIntosh. The spitback isn't too bad. I mean, I noticed when I squonk the shit out of it, 75 watts, I get some spit back, but I can't say it's worse than anything else after I drip or anything like that. Yeah, I actually, speaking of fall flavors and whatnot, I've been wanting to order some of the Turk liquid. I don't know.
Yeah, it's maize season.
Yeah, and I don't know what the state is in New Jersey. Is he still shipping out? Like, can you still order from him? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I have no idea, but I need to get on that.
I know Vinyl and Vapor moved.
Yeah, he like relocated or whatever.
Just his operation. I believe he's still in, because he's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but he moved the operation aspect.
But I think he moved his operation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe like Turk has too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I got another Pacamama flavor. I don't know what it's called, but I'll end up trying that eventually too. So
yeah, dude, Pacamama stuffs. I really like Charlie's. I really like all their stuff.
And I think I might come back to this campfire. It's a hell of a fall flavor, but dude, I'm just getting like such a Jesus.
Is it just really smoky? Dude,
yeah, they captured the fucking fire like real good. Like it's like charred wood, dude. Like they got that good. I don't know. Maybe I gotta try lower wattage or something. Maybe the chocolate notes are, under 100 watts or some bullshit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a chocolate cookie from Freeman's that I'm kind of excited to try.
I gotta get at Freeman. Are they a U.S. based, or are they?
Yeah, they're out of California.
Oh no shit!
I was
nice.
chatting with them on Twitter not too long ago, and
cool.
They do sample packs on their site. So
nice.
I just scooped one up, and I was like, no, I'll try their whole line. I'll see what I think. And
what are their sample bundles? Are they like just 30 mLs or even smaller than that?
Yeah, they're little 30 mLs.
Oh,
I think
nice.
you get all
just like
9 flavors.
Nice.
I got 9.
I hate that style. I hate
really,
that
dude?
style.
This is like, give me a mech, a dripper, and a glass bottle.
I like the glass bottle. I do like the glass aspect. I just hate that. I don't know. I kind of hate
so
that.
happy with that. It's such a. That's it, man.
I'm excited for the lemonade, man. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. This is my version 3 is sitting in there right now.
Oh man, I'm ready for it. So
I'm not ready to like get it out to people. It's. I'm actually going to be doing a Flavora order.
okay.
I'm going to pick up some blood orange. I'm going to pick up their lemonade, and I'm going to pick up their citrus soda.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I expect like a full lineup, like kind of like Turk does with the butterscotch.
No,
I expect you to do like lemonade and like a bunch of different shit.
I'm just focused on making like my liquid, like a liquid that I could just vape
all day.
All day, every day. And once it's perfect for me, I'll send it out to very few select people that I think might appreciate it.
Dude, talking about peach cobbler. We're talking about fall here, you know.
Yeah, so I tried.
Apple crisp,
talking
ice
about
cream.
Freeman's peach cobbler, and I tried it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I'm not a peach guy.
No.
It's the one liquid from them so far that I didn't enjoy, but I also can respect the fact that it tastes just like a peach cobbler. So if you like peach cobbler, it's all you. But it just wasn't for me. Does that make sense? Like, it's a good liquid. If you like peach cobbler, I just don't like peach.
Yeah, it's funny. I haven't had too many peach liquids, but I can't stand mango. I don't care what you blend it with or put it with.
Some
I cannot stand mango.
Yes, so, like I like real mango.
Yeah. I think as far as like liquids that I will not touch if they have these two in them, mango and coconut. You will not get me to try any liquid that has mango or coconut in it. I can't stand it.
Some coconut is okay for me too. Yeah, I just really the only peach that I've ever liked in a liquid is Coil Turds, a liquid for vaping.
Yeah, peach tea lemonade. That's awesome.
That liquid is because that peach blends with that lemonade so well, and it's so subtle.
Yeah,
that's a nice peach, but most of the time peach and me just don't get along. But if you like peach cobbler, that Freeman's peach cobbler is like that's what it is through and through. It tastes just like a peach cobbler.
It's crazy. Every time I get a vape box, I'll set up like so. If I get like 4 liquids, I'll have 4 devices that are just dedicated to those liquids. And then every time I try something new, I get such like a fucking like a nicotine punch from like new shit. Like when I tried this marshmallow campfire shit, like when I first tried it, I was like, whoa, like holy fuck. I think you get like so used to, you know.
Well, yeah, it's like for me sometimes I think when I get a new liquid that I really enjoy, I'll just like cloud chase for like 20 minutes. Like our bedroom is just like a weather system.
Oh yeah.
And I'll just because if I really like liquid when I first get into it, I just want to vape it and I want to know it really well. So I'll just sit in cloud chase.
Well, raging, I
and
think you
got like a whole 20-minute session of just cloud chasing. You're like, oh, fuck.
If you're all right with peach and you want a good lemonade. Or that combo, you gotta try Coil Turds peach tea lemonade. It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's such a nice lemonade.
So we got a shit ton to discuss. I think I tried to keep up sending you some links. We got.
Yeah, about that too. Let's get into those links. Yeah.
That's all right. Are you saying you haven't looked at them or anything?
Let's get right into them, man. Let's just jump.
All right, so
right into them. Because honestly, I've either probably opened them, looked at them through news and advocacy, or shared them on Twitter. I've probably looked at them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say if you're a lot of this stuff.
I just have not read. Your specific link.
That's all right. So like obviously all this stuff is from last week. As we were going to do this show Saturday and talk about goings on during the week. And if you're in this chat, I'm assuming you've kept up with the majority of things going on, even though everything's going a million miles a minute. The first thing I had written down was the nicotine cap bill that was introduced. That guy, Raja.
That's actually what we talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah. So if you checked out the podcast, Logan talked about it. So
Krishnamurti.
Yeah, Krishnamurti. Morty, yeah, that's a hell of a name.
It's a tough last name to say.
Another Gretchen. We got another.
I apologize again, Raja, for butchering it. I'm sorry.
It's one of those names.
It's a tough one, man.
That's right.
But I believe it's Krishnamurti. So the End Ends Act is what he introduced. Now, I looked high and low, and if anybody can find the official bill, please send it to me somewhere.
Yeah.
Send it to me on Twitter, send it to me on Instagram, send it to me, email it to me, whatever. Because I cannot find the actual bill.
I haven't spent any time looking for the legitimate bill.
What I found was like basically essentially his letter about the bill.
Okay.
But
not the actual.
But not the actual bill. So I don't have like a bill number to share or something to like.
Yeah.
But he discusses flavors. Obviously, those are discussed in there as well. And then the main like highlight of this action or this act is capping nicotine at 20 milligrams per milliliter.
Which, so just to kind of, before we even, go deeper into any of this, what are your thoughts on 20 milligram per milliliter? What do you think?
I think 20 milligram per milliliter is too low.
Honestly,
I've talked about it in the past,
and I know a lot of people have been talking about it. What did you quit with?
Originally, here's my thought, and I had a big discussion on Twitter about this. A lot of people agreed and a lot of people disagreed, and they brought up some really valid points.
Yeah.
But I had suggested 24 milligrams as a cap.
And I've heard other people say 24 as well.
Pre-Juul, pre-nicotine salt liquids. A lot of people, the two biggest quit numbers that I see when I talk to people are 18 and 24.
Yep. Those
were the milligram, the main two. Yes, you did see people quitting at 36 milligram. I know. But when we look at the vast majority, it's like 12 to 24 milligrams. That's the bulk of the people who use vaping products to quit smoking, like 2-pack a day smokers. 12 to 24 milligrams. And 20 milligrams to me is us just trying to copy the TPD. Okay. But also, to me, it's like you're not looking at your country's market. You're looking at the UK market. You're trying to copy the TPD. If you were looking at this market here in the United States and what's working for US smokers, 24 would have been a much more like logical number, I guess, to pick than 20. Most shops that make liquid or have their own lines or whatever are already used to 24 milligram. It's already a thing that they probably have registered.
Yeah.
Because once you introduce 20 milligram, like how many e-liquid companies have those products already registered at 20 milligram? Probably not many.
Yeah.
But I bet you a ton of them have their liquids registered with the FDA at 24 milligram.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be able to sell the top 20 milligram. They're going to be able to sell their 18s if they have 18, registered with the FDA.
As far and
they're not going to be able to sell. They're not going to be able to make a new liquid and submit a new SKU number for 20 milligrams because, obviously, again, August 8th, 2016 falls into place the deeming regs. So they can't do that. They can't sell the 24, and now they're only going to be able to sell the 18 and lower. So I think 20 milligram is just this. I'm okay with a nicotine cap. And I want people to understand that, yes, we should have access to as much nicotine as we fucking want. We're adults.
Yeah, and that's the bottom. I knew you were going to say that, and I was hoping I'd get to bring it up before you. But
when we start talking to legislators and lawmakers and we have to start compromising, I'm looking at us as a whole and at shops as a whole and what we could do. 24 milligram would have been a much more reasonable number than 20.
Yeah.
James, I agree. 20 is better than setting the cap at 12. I agree. But 24 would have been much better at setting the cap than 20. Again, if we just went off of what shops already have registered with the FDA, 24 milligram would have been a much better option to go for.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like that's a really good point that you bring up, because that's data that should have been taken into consideration before any kind of a nicotine cap was considered.
And they didn't even bother.
Stuff like, what do vape shops have registered? What is the most common milligram amount that, you know, the average smoker quits with? You know, stuff like that, because then it all kind of lines up. Like, okay, well, you know, 24, we have a good majority of people.
But that number gets a little weary. Again, we have to go pre-Juul. We have to go back to like 2015, 2016 to get that idea, because once high milligram nic salts came out and Juul hit the market, there's a shit ton of people that quit smoking with the Juul, man.
Yeah.
Like millions. Like there's a shit ton of people that have quit smoking with the Juul. So when you ask them what level nicotine they quit at, they 50. Yeah. Well, 59.9 or whatever Juul is per milliliter.
Yeah.
And that's, you know.
But as many people, you know, as many as, you know, people have quit with, you know, whatever the amount is, I don't think 20, and I mean, I don't want to say I'm talking out of my ass, but I don't think 20 is low enough to the point. Like, I'm sure maybe people won't be able to quit with 20, but I'd like to think that 20 is at a range where there's still plenty of people that can quit. So I'd hope, you know what I mean?
If you can find the right flavor for somebody, I truly believe in the right device with the right flavor, 20 milligram will get you off of cigarettes.
Yeah.
I believe that. But now you're putting people in a position where they have to find the right flavor and the right device.
Yeah. Rather than just like, okay,
with a Juul.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the right flavor, there's enough nicotine in that Juul that'll probably get you to switch. Now, hopefully from there you go and you find a better device with better flavor and a lower nicotine content, and you get off the salts and things like that. But now you're forcing people again. They have to find the right flavor. They have to find the right device. And on top of that, you're still threatening flavors.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're cutting into the opportunity for adults to quit even further. And that's, I don't know, you know,
somebody's got to have, you know, even, you know, that much more will to quit.
Yeah. You got,
It's not like, okay, well, I quit with a Juul. Now it's like, no, I quit with my 20 milligram, you know, fucking Fuji apple. And I had to stick to that, or that's what got me off, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm okay with 20. At least it's not lower. Like, I don't know, was it, James? You know, at least it's not 12. You know, at least it's not 12.
My issue, James, is that it's not science-based legislation that's going on right now.
No, and I agree with that. It's like they just pulled a number. Like, all right,
like, yeah, 20. We can sit here and we can say, well, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Shit, man, 3 milligram is better than nothing.
Of course.
But we need to stay focused, and we can't just say, yeah, that's perfectly fine. We have to say, yes, except X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
like, we have to continue that conversation. That conversation still needs to be had. You can't just say, well, it's better than nothing. Thanks, like, FDA.
Yeah.
Thanks, CDC.
I mean, it's kind of like there was nothing that, like, here's all our data that led us to 20 and why we think 20. It's just like, it's like this number just got fucking like
TPD. We're borrowing another country's approach, which, yes, works, but you have to understand that still it works in their country.
Yeah.
Everything in the UK doesn't work in America. And everything in America doesn't work in the UK.
Yeah.
So yes, they have more reasonably approached laws and regulations around e-liquid, but that's because it works in their country. Should we take some of those as an example for our country? Possibly, and quite maybe that would be a good idea, but we still need to work around what's going on here and base our legislation on our country.
Oh, everything.
We need to use the numbers that are here.
Everything that's going on is very jumpy, and it's a lot of, you know, copy pasta. You know, like this state's copying this state. Okay, well, let's copy this country. It did a 20 milligram. If it's good over there, it should be good over here. But none of that is reality. It's all, just because, like you're saying, just because it works over there doesn't mean it works here. We need to look at data, and it just doesn't need to be like, all right, let's fucking 20.
And it needs to be honest, real good data.
Yeah. Not
scare tactics, mongering bullshit, conflated data, like real data.
Oh, I mean,
science-based legislation is what we need, and we're not getting it. We're getting moral panic-based legislation.
Yeah. And, you know, we have James and Raging, they said they both quit on 6, which is nice. But we've all heard stories. Some people quit with 12. Some people quit with 18,
And James,
24.
I'm not trying to discount you, brother. I'm more than fucking proud of you for quitting 2 packs a day with 6 milligram. From the bottom of my heart, bro, I am extremely proud of you for that. But the reality of the situation is not everybody can do that.
Yeah, and I agree with what Matt just said as well. It's kind of like exactly what we're saying. Just because it works over there, doesn't mean it's going to work here, and it is kind of vague, and it doesn't fit for everybody. Like these guys quit with 6. That's like saying like, okay, well, make it 6 then. 6 should be fine. We got people quit with 6.
I had a guy at work that told me he quit cold turkey, and I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah. I think like we're saying, as far as like data goes, there just needed to be, data that consisted of like not just quickly thrown together either. If we had, but I'm a badass. That's funny. If I just think it needs to be more like, we have this many people that quit with this and this many people that quit with this, and just find an effective range. Like if you had a vast majority of people at 20 and 24, then maybe make it 24. So then, the people who do need that extra can get that extra and get off. Or, it's just so quickly thrown together. And like we're saying, it's a lot of copy pasta, a lot of, just following.
And they could even implement something where like anything over, even if they went with the 20, right? Say they go with the 20.
I think I know what you're about
anything
to say.
over 20, they could still say anything over 20 milligram, you have to get from a pharmacy.
Yeah.
And still sell jewels behind the counter or something like that at a pharmacy.
And I heard another live show talking about this, and I forget which it was. I want to say it was, I don't know if it was Vaping with the Ohmies or if it was like the Green Room or something.
I quit with 18 milligram in a Clado sub-ohm tank.
Yeah.
I was sub-ohming strawberry lemonade 18 milligram in order to quit. And that's what it took me to get off of cigarettes.
I'm all for a nicotine cap. Like flavors. If they could leave flavors alone and just say like nicotine cap, let's do this. Like we always say, we don't want to give everything, but we know we're gonna have to give something, and we always talk about regulation and this and that versus banning things. And I'd much rather see, a nicotine cap. Of course, like we said, it's a freedom thing as well. If you want to, there should be unlimited amount. Whatever. But
yeah, and I kind of made the point. I guess I touched on it on the podcast, but. I kind of backtracked. If we went with a 20 milligram cap, DIY would still exist.
Yeah.
If you wanted 24 milligram, if you wanted 36 milligram, please at least be good at math and know how to DIY. But you could still do that.
Yeah.
So that's still an option. It's just in the whole spectrum of limiting what smokers need in order to get off of combustible tobacco, no nicotine cap is good for public health. Like, I guess, yes, a nicotine cap would be good for public health if you were to set it at, I don't know, like 100 milligrams. Like, the level at which you, like, a human being could OD on nicotine is somewhere around 500 to 1,000 milligrams. Depending on your body weight, depending on you physically. That's a fuck ton of nicotine. Like, you know what I mean? And there's nicotine overdose is so incredibly rare.
Yeah.
It's happened in, I think, 3 or 4 kids worldwide, 1 in the US. And that was from ingesting nicotine, like nicotine, not like e-liquid, but like concentrate nicotine for like DIY. And like, it's so incredibly hard to overdose on nicotine because of how well people self-titrate nicotine. There's so many early signs to nicotine, like there's a hashtag right now that I don't remember who used on Twitter, the ALA, somebody, Nick sick, getting Nick sick, getting nicotine sick. Yes. But you're not ODing on nicotine when you get a headache and when you get nauseous. You're actually very far from ODing on nicotine. That's our body responding and saying, okay, we don't need any more nicotine.
Yeah.
When you get that headache and you get that nauseous feeling, you're still, in order to vape to the point of ODing on nicotine, you would have to be vaping through like violent vomiting sessions. like throwing up, vaping, splitting headache, vaping, throwing up, vaping. Like you would have to continue that.
Well beyond the
It's
point of
insane
like,
to think that even with a Juul at its high milligram, that you could vape yourself into a nicotine OD situation. It's insanity to think that you could do that. So the whole idea of having a nicotine cap, again, if we go back to science-based legislation, is 20 milligrams a good cap? No, it's just not. But is it acceptable enough right now where we are in the state of our industry to say, okay, maybe that's the right move? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Scott's hard spitback on that.
What are your thoughts, man? I kind of took the reins on that one. I apologize.
No, it's, I mean, you have we chat about this all the time, the different perspectives that you and I have. That's why I really enjoy doing this show and stuff like that. I agree. I guess I agree with a cap only on the basis of, they're going to try and come after, whatever they can, like in whatever way.
Right. And two, the other thing that we all have to bear in mind that is a 20 milligram cap is just the start.
And like you're saying, we've heard people quit with 12, 18, 24. I think you mentioned 36. You got people quitting with Juul. It's 50. I don't know any closed systems that are above 50, but I'm sure you can get 60 milligram pods for something, or maybe even higher than that. I don't know much about.
I'm sure there are knockoffs. So yeah,
I'd like to think that if there was a countrywide, cap 20 milligram, I'd like to think that there'd still be plenty of people that would quit. Maybe they have to have more of a will to find the flavor that'll really do it for them. But
yeah, I think again we're limiting the ability for adults to make choices for themselves and to,
which it goes into the whole freedom thing.
What again works for them, for the individual.
It's making the idea of quitting less convenient, which is totally what they're going for by everything that they're doing. Just because there's a cap at 20 milligram, does that not mean that people can DIY and make their liquids higher? Of course, but it eliminates the convenience factor of people who are trying to quit, which it's already inconvenient for them. If they're trying to quit, they already have a will, they want to quit. If it's easy enough for them to go to a vape shop and be like, okay, well, this blueberry 24 milligrams is really doing it for me. This is what got me off. If you cut it down to 20, maybe the 20 wouldn't do it for them, or maybe it would be harder for them to quit. And it's just the idea that they're eliminating the convenience factor. But do I think plenty of people will still quit if 20 was
absolutely.
Like for sure?
Absolutely.
It just makes it harder. It makes it a lot harder for people who try it and then they want more, or maybe they find themselves vaping more.
And I think we're gonna still get the bulk.
Yeah.
At 20 milligrams, we're still gonna get the bulk of people.
Yeah.
But those people, we're going to have this outlying number still that we left behind.
Yeah.
And that's just really shitty to think about.
Yeah, of course. And it jumps to the
like
whole...
those people that, because there are people out there that smoke 3-4 packs a day. There are people that smoke from the minute they wake up until the minute they go to bed.
Yeah.
And we are just going to condemn those people. Like, no, we're getting rid of the only products that are probably going to ever help you get off of those cigarettes.
Yeah, and we know exactly, and everybody's been saying it. We know that they're trying to keep people smoking. They're going to do it by whatever means possible. If it's capping nicotine amounts, so less people will try and move over or whatever it is. But am I okay with a milligram cap? If you want to talk from freedom perspective, no, not at all. But does something got to give? We all know something has to give. And like we just said, just because it's working in another country doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work as well in ours. But just think of that like as well. Like it's still going to work, and of course it's horrible to think about all the people that it will not work for. But it's either going to drive
all
people.
All the while, the same deadly cigarettes will still remain on the shelves.
Exactly. So it forces people to not want to quit or have more of a will.
Cigarettes should stay on the shelves. It's that hypocrisy, though.
Freedom thing, it's a freedom thing.
That's a freedom. Like I would never tell anybody, yes, you should go smoke. But would I ever tell anybody, you're not a free American and you don't have the right to go smoke now?
Yeah. You
You
know?
know, that's the thing. Like, we should have, if we're allowed to, we're allowed to have the freedom to smoke deadly combustibles, we should be allowed to have the freedom to use less harmful vapor products at whatever nicotine level helps
Yeah, it's
us.
the idea of capping anything. There's no like here's your card, like a social security card, and you scan it when you buy a pack of cigarettes and you're only allowed 2 a day. There's no bullshit like that. I don't believe in any kind of caps or restrictions or anything, to an extent, but it kind of depends how you want to look at it. Like we said, if you want to look at it
Yeah,
from a freedom
again, it
aspect,
just comes back
no.
to the fact that we need science-based legislation, and what we're getting is moral panic
Yeah.
legislation.
Because if you've had plenty of people quit with 50 milligram, well, guess what? Maybe there's X amount of people that, guess what? 50 didn't work for them. Maybe it was higher than that or whatever. You know what I mean? The limitation is going to be, I don't want to say like
I mean, yeah,
opinion based or
there
like
does come
user
to a
based. You
point
know what
where
I
we're
mean?
just like, okay, e-cigarettes are clearly not going to work for you.
Yeah, exactly, and
There
that's
are
why.
those people. There are people like, yes, NRTs, like as much as we kind of shit on NRTs in the vape community, they still work for a lot of people. And yes, they are even safer than vaping. Using gums, lozenges, that's safer than vaping by 2-3%. You know what I mean? That margin is pretty low, but they are technically, and they work for a lot of people. The only thing that I think that we probably shouldn't have is Chantix.
Yeah.
Chantix is a terrible thing. And
Oh yeah.
yes, again, it has worked to get people to quit smoking. I agree, it has. But Chantix was never designed to help people quit smoking. Chantix was designed to be a super depressant. It just also happened to help smokers quit.
Yeah.
But the adverse effects, that laundry list that comes with Chantix,
Yeah.
there are better ways. Like, why are we still handing the biggest suicide pill to people? Like, it is literally embodying like the quit or die mentality.
I hate the idea of something that has like one beneficial factor, and then there's like 2 minutes of 30 times fast forwarded voiceover of like all the bad shit. It's like,
Yeah, dude.
what is it even like what is it
Like,
even worth? Is there not other ways of going about it?
If death is listed as a side effect to something that's only trying to get you to quit smoking,
But it
which
only
is
may
also going to
cause
lead you to death, like, that's a hell of a gamble, man. Like,
it
do
only
I
may
gamble with the thing
cause
I'm still doing and die in 30 years? Or do I gamble
man.
with this thing and possibly hang myself and have a seizure tomorrow? It's a hell of a gamble, man. And again, I know that it's worked for some people, but it's just a terrible option. It's a terrible option.
The awesome thing, James, I see what you guys are chatting about in here, and this community, to talk about community real quick, kind of get off of what we're going on here about. If you don't have time to DIY and you can't get e-liquid in your state, you can reach out to, I guarantee you, practically anybody in the community. Anybody. If you PayPal me, I will send you whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people.
Most
It's
people
just
will.
yeah, because nobody wants anybody in this community to go back to combustible. Just no way. I mean, even if if you work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm assuming that you check your mail at some point. And the convenience factor of PayPal and Cash App and Venmo and all this shit, it's fucking 2 clicks on a 10-minute lunch break or 30-minute lunch break, whatever kind of break you got. But yeah,
I don't take breaks.
I don't take breaks either. So I guess to kind of just keep working down the list here, we can talk about Oregon's ban. The date on this is 10/7 by Angela G. on good old Vaping. Basically, the state agencies are readying themselves to set up rules that surround the prohibition on flavored nicotine and THC products. The OLCC, Oregon's Liquor Control Commission, if approved, it'll go into effect immediately, and they would do compliance checks immediately, is also what I read. I guess the OLCC regulates vaping products that contain THC, while the Oregon Health Authority is responsible for how the vape ban affects nicotine-containing products. So they got a little. There's some weird shit going on, but basically Oregon, THC, and nicotine products. So I'm gonna try and grab the link for that real quick. I don't know. I guess you can start out what you think about that and all that. While I drop this link real quick.
They're just hopping on the bandwagon, man. Literally.
Exactly. Following suit, which is kind of like what we talked about earlier. Everybody's doing the old copy pasta.
If you live in Oregon, call.
Call. Yeah, call, write, email, all the above.
I don't have much else to say. I mean, we're just kind of watching right now. We're just watching which states are going to do what right now, and Oregon went that way.
And I don't know. I've been trying to keep up with everything I possibly can, and I could be wrong. I may very well be wrong, but this is the first state that I've heard about that not only goes after flavored nicotine products and just talking about flavored, but it also it covers tobacco and cannabis, marijuana, and hemp. They put in parentheses there vaping products that contain natural or artificial flavors, and then they give a little list of all the flavors. So as far as I'm aware, this is the first state that's not only gone after flavored nicotine, but also THC products as well. I don't know any other states. So
I believe THC is in the verbiage of a few other states' bans.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I think it might be in the verbiage for a few other states' bans, including like additives and things like that.
And just to kind of touch on some important points, this would be
Washington. Yep.
This will be a 6 month.
Yeah.
This will be a 6 month ban, and it will go into effect on October 15th, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And like Matt was saying, Washington. I think 2 weeks ago, me and Becky talked about Washington and.
That's a boy. That's a good way to use fucking coupons.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they give out coupons for cigarettes. James is like, yeah, I've been getting coupons for cigarettes, and I use them to I use them in my wood stove to heat my garage. I don't think there's a better way to use a coupon for cigarettes. But yeah. So Oregon, however you want to say it, they're following suit. I want to, and this is going to be a big one. I kind of want to skip over a couple other things I had. I want to talk to you about, and I think everybody's heard it at this point, lung cancer in mice.
Oh, the shit mice study. Yeah.
The more holes than Swiss cheese study that we got going on.
Let's take inbred mice that already have like a 20% or higher risk of cancer going into this.
So I have some quick notes that I jotted down.
There's so many problems in that study. It's not even funny.
I just want to spit all these out, and if anybody hasn't seen this, I'm not going to drop the link, but just head on over to Dash Vape's channel. He does a video on it, and he gives you the link to the actual very detailed study if you're interested in that. So basically, there was 85 mice in 3 different groups. Group 1, they exposed 45 mice to 36 milligram e-liquid. The second group was 20 mice to 0 milligram, and the last 20 was ambient air. So now this was 4 hours a day, 5 days a week for 54 weeks. And just to kind of keep going on what I got written down here, and then we'll chat about it. At the end, from what I have from that video, it said 22% developed signs of lung cancer, but then it jumps right in. Dash Vape speaks about what you kind of just said. These mice are bred specific, and they're not always. We're not talking about healthy mice. You know what I mean?
No.
They're not all
the mice that are used are inbred, high cancer risk, little tiny rodents. Anyway, these are animals that get cancer just for being alive.
Yeah. So
these are it's a terrible study.
So out of the 85 mice, 9 died due to health. 2 and can I just point out 2 of the 9 that died, they died in the group that was just ambient air. So that kind of talks about that. 9 showed signs of lung illness, and 1 mice showed signs of lung cancer just through ambient air. So we got inbreed unhealthy mice, and this study is just kind of it goes on to different things I've
junk.
seen. Yeah.
It's just literally, it's just.
I mean, we have, it's funny. I think if you,
it's just garbage.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it anymore, but if I'm correct, I think M Turk shared a kind of like an IGTV Instagram video of a TV show that spoke about these mice studies and how mice are used in comparison in these studies compared to humans. And people go on the whole, like, what is it? Mice have 97%. The DNA is similar to that extent of 97%. But I mean, I watched and I saw in that video that it showed they thought they had a cure for cancer. It worked in mice, and then when they gave it to a human, there was a complete organ failure. We're talking,
mice and people are not the same.
No, we're talking about something that's roughly 3,000 times the size of the other, like, you know what I mean, or something to that extent. We're talking about a mouse and a human. You know what I mean? It's just, and if I'm correct, I don't know if this is the correct abbreviation, but mice are the only animal that are not protected by the AWA, I think is what it's called, if I'm correct. So it's like, people can do these studies on mice because guess what?
Okay, I'm going to share a study that probably a lot of people might not agree with the ethics of because this study was done on rats and monkeys. Okay?
Rats and monkeys. Okay, well, maybe monkeys.
But it's a little bit more of not necessarily a nicotine study, but it's done on the toxicity for propylene glycol. And essentially for like a year to a year and a half, they would have rats and monkeys living in overly saturated propylene glycol and triethylene glycol atmospheres, okay? And at the end of it, when they did autopsies on these animals, they found the lungs were completely fine. They found bones, liver, like the major organs completely undamaged and fine. And we're talking about living in an atmosphere of propylene glycol, not just breathing it in through a vaporizer a few times a day. I mean, we hit obviously a vapor more than a few times a day, but we're talking for a year to a year and a half living, sleeping, living, breathing in oversaturated air in propylene glycol with zero adverse effects. When we talk about the 3.5-year study that Dr. Pelosi did on non-smokers vaping regularly for 3.5 years, showing zero adverse lung effects. When we know that nicotine in itself, while not benign, doesn't cause lung cancer. We know these things. Okay? Like we know these things. This study was done in 1947. We've known this for a long time. This is one of the studies that was used to determine what chemicals we use and what liquids we use in e-liquid.
Yeah, so I'm going to drop, this is the, it took me a minute to find it here. This is the link to the actual study through the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America, if anybody wants to look at that. So yeah, I mean, we kind of
take you to. That apparently wasn't the right thing. Hang on.
And I guess we're already kind of like chewing right through this, and a lot of people have already talked about this. And if I was talking to Raging Vapor earlier, Greg Connolly actually talked about this on the Yahoo Finances
that's
little.
Thing. Sorry, I dropped the wrong thing. There you go. Right.
Greg Connolly also touched on this on, I don't know, Logan, if you got it. Actually, you did, because you retweeted it and then I retweeted it, so you saw it. Greg Connolly on Yahoo Finance, he was talking about the whole mice study got brought up as well, and I think he brought up the point that carcinogens that are found in in humans due to vaping is nothing more than what you'd find through lozenges and nicotine gum, and I don't know. I think it jumps to a conclusion.
He does, and he talks about I believe it was in that interview, and it might have been in another one. He talks about nicotine might be a tumor accelerant basically, like if you had cancer, if you had tumors, that nicotine in itself might accelerate that tumor growth, but nicotine in itself doesn't cause cancer.
Dude, I love your cat.
Oh yeah,
that sucker's going wild. Is that just like a random box, or is that like a piece of furniture? It looks like he's going wild in a random box right now.
he's in a box. Yeah.
Oh, if only I could keep myself entertained like that cat. It's keeping himself well entertained.
The guitars are back there.
Oh, nice.
Wow. But yeah. So.
Yeah. So as far as that study goes, it's.
But the biggest problem is that the mice study doesn't even have to be junk for it to do damage. Like.
No, it creates a headline that's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it takes.
To the misinformed public,
people don't think.
And if you click the link that I put, including myself, do you think anybody's gonna read through that whole thing? All you had to see was the title. That vaping causes this in mice. All these big words that nobody wants to. Oh, I'm too fucking scared of that. What the hell is this bullshit?
The mice got cancer.
Yeah, mice got cancer. Jesus Christ. It definitely means I'm gonna get it.
Everything gives mice cancer. Literally everything gives mice cancer.
Can we also talk about like the sorry, I had to write it down because my fucking brain.
Air, air gives mice cancer.
36 milligram, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week for 54 weeks.
For over a year.
4 hours a day. These mice that are
Yeah, like we don't even vape 4 hours a day.
Can we just talk about how our insides are
like is that just like they received it for 4 consecutive hours?
4 hours a day, 5 days a week for 54 weeks. You got something that's like X amount of a fraction of the size of us that's inhaling 36 milligrams. How can we even say that the effects are similar whatsoever? You want to give a mouse 36 milligram e-liquid 4 hours a day, 5 days a week for... Dude,
its heart is this big.
Like, what do you think? What the hell do you like, why don't you hook me up to fucking... Let's change that amount. What would the... if you're giving a mouse that's a fraction of the size of me 36 milligram, why don't you hook me up to, like, a couple thousand and see how long I go for? Like, what the hell are we talking about here? What kind of study is this? There's plenty of videos that'll tell you that, like, studies in comparison with humans and mice are completely irrelevant for X, Y, and Z anyway. So, but what does this do? It creates a headline that's just going to get passed around by a bunch of misinformed individuals that don't want to take the time to find the real shit, and it just creates panic, fear mongering, and X, Y, and Z. And then you got people like me and Rage and Vapor were talking about this earlier. We got people like Aaron Mills congratulating people that are going back to smoking.
Yep.
It's
I gave up on Aaron Mills months ago on Twitter. I just refuse now because...
And nobody can hold themselves back.
I just can't. I'm just gonna go full basic white girl and just say that I literally cannot.
I'm surprised she didn't block you. Are you sure she didn't block you? People have a good habit of blocking.
I have no idea, and I to be honest with you, I really don't care.
No, but me and
She's
Ranger,
just an ignorant mouthpiece. That's all she is, and everybody buys
Ranger,
it. The only people that give that woman any real attention are vapors.
Yeah,
it's you guys still. Not like I'm talking to vapors in general. You guys that are still just like feeding into this woman. Just let her rot somewhere in the corner of Twitter where everyone will forget about her.
I hate to see
no one gives her any other attention other than vapors.
Mice epidemic. I hate to see her, keep passing this misinformation, and it wouldn't matter if she had 1 follower or 20,000. Either way, it's bad. But
it's just all lies,
people giving her any more attention is unnecessary, and I see a lot of people are losing their what the hell do you want to call it? They go all out on her. No emotion. They can't control their emotions. They're.
I did too for a while just because it's all blatant lies. She blatantly lies.
And then she has to tag like everybody and their brother. It's all this. It's
and eventually, you know what? Like I just gave up on it. Like I could not tell you the amount of articles and studies that I have shared to that woman.
And then she'll reply to you when you
the science, and then she will she'll ignore you, and then she'll go about blatantly lying and denying all of it.
Or she'll reply to you and she'll say something like, I'm all for adults vaping. She'll like throw in something like that. It's like you're getting whiplash, kind of like Jerome Adams. Or
Jerome,
you get whiplash from these people. They lean one way and then they're like running forward in the other way, and it's like, what the fuck are you crazy? What's going on? So yeah, as far as that study goes, that's totally in the toilet. I have some other topics, but since we were on like the dash vapes, I wanted to bring up, and I was talking to Raging Vapor about this earlier, a video that he posted. Undercover teen going into different gas stations and convenience stores and trying to buy Juul pods. And it's funny, the couple of the vape shops they went into, they wouldn't give it to him at all without an ID. But I'm pretty sure it was either 2 or 3 other places he managed to get Juul pods without having to show an ID.
Yeah.
So it's like let's set aside the lung illness thing for a second, just to talk about, if you want to try and fix this teen epidemic, realize, one, that it'll never go away, because teens will always manage to get shit one way or another. Just realize that. But if you're trying to cut back on it and trying to limit it, go after these fucking convenience stores that are doing exactly this. Now that they're up in Canada. If you don't know, they were up in Canada, and I guarantee you it's a lot worse down here. Because guess what? Joey told Tim that Joey went there and got it. He didn't get carded, so now fucking Tim's gonna go there and he's gonna get it, and he's not gonna get carded. Either these workers don't care, or they're not. There's no fear of having any kind of real authority go undercover and try and make that shit happen. So it's like, set aside the illnesses, which is a whole black market thing. But if you want to talk about trying to curb teen use, going after flavors, guess what? You're creating another black market, and that's not the same black market that's creating these illnesses. So if you want to talk about curbing teen use, go after these goddamn stores that aren't carding people. Like, it's just it's nuts. Set aside the black market that's literally killing people. You want to talk about teen use? Why don't you go after all these stores? And it's literally, I guarantee, if it's any vape shop, I guarantee it's a very minimal number. Actually, if you were to test a bunch, it's like
NBC maybe, NBC or maybe CBS. Either way, Fox maybe even. One of the major news outlets just spoke to Greg Connolly, and he was talking about exactly this. And he right there, he was like, even the FDA data shows that vape shops are not the offenders here.
No,
the majority of the actual like storefront retail locations,
and the picture is painted. The picture is painted so negatively.
Gas stations, because they don't care. Like, people who work in convenience stores and gas stations, they don't care whether they ID you. They don't care what they sell you. These people see literally hundreds of people a day for quick transactions, and that's it. They're in and out. They buy Cheetos, they buy a Coke, they buy gas, they buy cigarettes, they buy. The guy behind the counter doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just cares that your credit card goes into the thing, or you hand him cash.
And
that's all they care about.
I like adding it in there, and I really try and point it out, is like, don't expect it to go away completely. If you want to talk about illnesses or you want to talk about teen use, guess what? It's never going to go away completely.
It's never going to go away. Christ, again, more teens use cannabis. More teens binge drink on alcohol. More kids drink alcohol, period, than they do vape, than they do smoke. Like, teenagers are terrible human beings.
Yeah.
They're just going to break the law and do what they want. That's what teenagers do, because teenagers have that, like, immunity from the law.
Oh, yeah.
So they go and break it.
And it's like I said to Jason. Sorry, Jason. I'll get that right next time. Jason. Like I said to Jason earlier, I said, these politicians and whatnot, they all have their head in their asses and they're running around in circles. You're not doing anything to fix all these problems, or quote unquote problems, that you guys are bringing up. Teen epidemic. Well, guess what? Banning flavors isn't going to do that. How much flavor are you really getting from a fucking 50 milligram Juul? I understand there's flavor, sure, but we all know they're not vaping it because it tastes like fucking cherries. You want to look at any quote from any of these teens, they're talking about a head rush. They're talking about a buzz. Literally those words. They're not vaping it because it tastes like
and again, cherries.
Like,
people like me that decided to start smoking at 14 years old, I didn't do it because they tasted good.
Yeah.
Cigarettes gave me a head buzz.
Yeah.
And I thought it made me look cool.
Yeah.
For that same exact reason, that's why teenagers, what are you doing? Go quick if you're going. Go quick. Where are you going?
Now you got all the sheets.
I'll be up in a little bit. Thank you.
007 in the background scaling across the floor.
She's trying to sneak. But I didn't start smoking again. I didn't smoke because it tasted good.
No.
For the same reason that these teenagers are going and getting Juuls and whatever, these 50 milligram pods, they really don't care. That the taste good part is just bonus.
Just a bonus, yeah.
It's just bonus.
Yeah.
They're going because it gives them a head rush. It gives them a high.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're going and getting them. Yeah. That's it. That's why I smoked. That's why millions of people smoked when they were kids. Like, cigarettes taste like an ashtray. They taste like garbage.
Oh, they're nasty.
And we smoke them anyway. It doesn't matter what flavor you put in these pods. Even if there's just tobacco pods on the market, kids are just going to use the tobacco pods. It doesn't matter. They're going to wash it down with whatever 300 milligram caffeine energy drink they bought anyway.
Yeah. So I guess
it doesn't matter what. It's just insanity. Like, these politicians are so far disconnected from what is really going on. It's either A, they're that disconnected, or B, the entire flavor thing is literally just because they know it works and they want to shut it down.
And I don't even think, and it's funny that Matt brought this up because this is another huge thing, and I think we've talked about it into the past, but let's not even get on the idea of obesity and, unhealthy stuff in other ways that are just as big as problems as
it's fine because your Surgeon General used to hold stocks in both Monster Energy drinks and McDonald's.
And it's interesting because I was talking to my girlfriend about this.
Major tobacco companies.
Yeah, and I was talking to my girlfriend about this, and I like how you pointed out used to, which is an important point. But I'd like to just say, I don't care what you I don't care what your previous intentions were or what you were doing. If you have any interest in public health, and let alone exactly. That be your title.
If you have interest in public health, you're still the same guy that owned taxes in 5 major tobacco companies and McDonald's and Monster Energy drinks.
Yeah, so
you owned stock in the death and disease of the American people while pursuing public health.
Yeah.
What kind of cockamamie backwards shit is that? Like,
and if cigarettes are number 1 in the U.S. preventable death, I guarantee you obesity is, if not number 2, it's definitely within the top 5. Illnesses related to obesity.
I think it's within the top 10.
Yeah, top 10. Yeah, top 10, top 5. Either way, it's just we don't need it. It's so. Yeah, I guess to kind of move on here, the next thing I kind of want to bring up, I want to try and stay in the realm of shit that's going on. I like getting ranty though. I do. We'll talk about Governor Bullock. I don't know how to say it. And I'm not too sure if he's the governor of, what is it, Montana? Do you know, Governor Bullock? Montana. So he becomes the 7th governor to institute a ban on vaping products by executive action. Bullock's ban is temporary, beginning October 22nd, which is...
runs into what, January?
It's 120 days, and the ban includes all flavored e-cigarette products, THC, CBD, in-store and online, is what I have written down for that. And I'm sure that was probably another Angela Garrity article through VapeBun. If not, it's Vaping 360. And like we're saying at the beginning, this is all like following suit. Although I don't want to sound interested, but it does interest me that they are starting to go after THC, CBD products as well.
Well, because they know. I mean, FDA and CDC have both said it. So now that they've gotten the clearance 4 fucking months later.
Yeah. And I'm starting to see stuff online now about, check your kids' candy for these, these edibles. These high milligram edibles.
It's just like the razor blades in apples and.
Which I never took. Who the hell was giving out? If anybody was taking out apples, I can, unless you're, I don't know.
Still, it goes back to the same thing. Like, it never actually happens.
No.
Like, I'm sorry. Do you know how much those edibles cost?
That's what I was about to say. Is nobody's giving away these edibles?
Do you really think that any adult who spent their hard-earned money on that product is just going to hand it out to kids on Halloween? Kids that they'll never see again?
Oh, I see.
I mean, yes, you should check your kids' candy. We do, just in case anything is opened or whatever.
You've seen
and we also do the parent tax, which, now that I've safely searched your candy and I walked you all over God knows where.
I get 90% of it.
We take a little parent tax, and that's It's all right.
I actually know
But
nothing about.
come on, like let's be real. These things come out every year, and they warn everybody. And how often does it actually happen? It doesn't happen. Is it still smart to check your kids' candy? Absolutely. But if you really think that kids are going to start getting like big bags of edibles,
forget it.
It's not gonna happen.
Unless you got somebody outside your window watching this kid, get stoned or whatever after the fact.
Let's just live in reality for a few minutes, please, because I'm so sick of living outside of reality with everything that's going on. Like, get back to reality.
To backtrack on what Matt said, he said no, I'm saying you can get high off an energy drink. To just kind of touch on what teens, we talked about high milligram and these flavors being somewhat irrelevant to these teens that are just looking for a head rush, a Nick buzz, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I know kids that used to huff Sharpies. We know people that's sniff the fumes of gasoline. People will do anything to get high. We know that. Being high off energy drinks, that's new to me. I don't know if you're talking about.
I think there's the rush,
the caffeine rush. Is that what we're trying
that
to
caffeine fucking the caffeine rush is the next rush for a kid. Like the kid rush is like sugar rush.
That's what I was gonna say. When they're real little, you don't want to give them too much sugar.
You move on to the caffeine rush.
Yeah. Like, so it goes on the whole premise of teens are gonna use things regardless of flavor. Speaking of how many people started smoking cigarettes at a young age.
Obviously, they're going to use whatever one tastes best.
Yeah.
But the flavor is just a bonus.
Yeah.
Like when I was smoking when I was a teenager, okay, for example, I was a Camel guy. I smoked Camels. When I was a teenager, Camel put out a signature series. Okay, and these were flavored cigarettes. There was one that was like a berries and nuts. There was one that was like a menthol. There was one that was, I don't know, like a maybe like more of a fruitier like a fruitier cigarette, and it was called, I think they were called signature series. Either way, yeah, absolutely, I had people buy me those. Why? Because they tasted better. Cool. Yeah, it tasted better. That was the bonus. I was still smoking shit before that, and then when they took them away, I still went back and I smoked regular Camels. Like, you know what I mean? The flavors are just a bonus. They're still gonna use these products. They're still gonna get their hands on these products. So what we need to do is, yes, limit the availability of flavors in certain locations. I think that's a viable option. I think in convenience stores, yeah, tobacco, menthol, that's it.
Yeah.
Vape shops are where you should be able to buy flavors in adult-only locations with age verification going into it, with age verification at the point of sale.
Yeah, we've gotten through pretty much all my topics. The last topic I have, and then we can kind of just shoot the shit, banter, ranter, whatever the hell you want to call it. I just have this article was from 10/9 of this month, so last week. The de Blasio administration lawsuit against online retailers. I don't know if you got a chance to look at that link, but the lawsuit alleges that 22 online retailers failed to use age verification systems on their websites, and in quotes here, they targeted minors with flavors mimicking dessert and cereal, violating city law, and creating a public nuisance. Now, if I'm correct, which I'd probably have to bring up the article just to double check, I'm pretty sure this is going on in New York, I want to say.
I don't know.
I have to dig back here.
I can guarantee what they are. They're probably like the
York.
Online stores for like little mom and pop shops.
Yeah, I'm going to drop
that
the
really
link.
Don't do very much online. And
but I think we can all agree over the last, whatever, I don't know how long you want to say, online sales have become very strict as far as age verification.
Yeah. I think there are still, there's bound to be those mom and pop shops out there that have a little website that they've made to try to maybe sell some stuff online, and they really don't do anything with it.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna go.
It's like grandma trying to sell stuff on Craigslist. Like, you know what I mean? They're really shit little websites. I can guarantee you that some of those offenders are probably that. And then some of those offenders are people that are literally just trying to make a quick buck.
I have a few. I mean, I mostly, I don't buy too much e-liquid online, but when I do get age, verified. I have files saved of myself very close with my license, and that's in some online, that's what's required. I mean, I couldn't even get drip tips from DHD because at the time I was living somewhere new and my address didn't match what they had on file, blah, 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 versus my license. So I think we can say maybe not all these sites, and maybe there are
Most,
offenders,
yeah,
but we can
most
say
do.
that
Most
it's
do,
come a
yeah.
long way now. I
Really
mean,
great job.
you can't even buy drip tips without a selfie with your license that proves your age. I mean, it's coming a long way. But we know they're just trying to go after anything they can. They'll create a headline.
Yeah,
and
they're
they'll
going
get
after
these,
any little, anybody who's
You're out of your
maybe not
mind. You're out of your
perfectly
mind if you don't think people like Aaron Mills are paid for. That's all I gotta say. Is you're out of your mind one way or another. And it's funny enough, she's congratulating this lady going back to smoking. Little does this other lady know, like, guess what? You're putting food on her table. You're putting money in her pocket in some way. You know, at least that's what I like to think. As evil as that is, I don't know how you congratulate somebody on their health when they decide to go back to smoking cigarettes. That sounds like somebody who is involved in stocks or some kind of fucking money regarding people.
Or like
smoking.
her husband, maybe.
Yeah, just gonna throw that out there. I don't know. Hey, good job going back to cigarettes. Those damn fucking guys at Juul. But yeah, so that's what I have for topics. I don't know. I guess we can kind of. I don't know. What do you think about last week? I'm sure that Twitter's a whole nother world. Is there anything you want to talk about or regarding news and advocacy as far as that goes before we do our?
No, I think we really I think we covered it.
We took a good chomp out of everything. I just wanted to show that real quick. So yeah, all right. Well, let's just I guess we'll get into our end processes here. I know you dropped the podcast dropped today.
Yeah, podcast dropped yesterday, actually.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna say usually you do it. So I don't know.
I drop it on Sundays, and I usually share it with the Discord members. So anybody out there who does listen on Mondays, it is available on Sundays. But most of the time, only the Discord members know.
I'm gonna drop the link for that real quick if anybody wants to check that out.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was a good one.
I didn't finish it yet. I'm about halfway through.
We talked about the End-to-Ends Act. We talked about Montana.
I'm hearing about floppy disks. Is where
yeah. We talked about the '90s. We talked about kind of growing up with the internet.
So that's the link to that if you want to check out the podcast that Logan drops every Monday for certain, if not, or a little earlier maybe, just maybe.
For most people, though, I think Monday is a good day for a podcast.
It is. Monday's a great day. I wake up, have coffee, podcasts, Rise and Vape podcast. So yeah, shameless plug time. What do you got going on? Anything for YouTube? All the good stuff?
Usual business as usual around here. Not really much exciting this week. This is just kind of just one of those weeks. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have our podcast coming up next weekend. Other than that, just work this week. Just work.
Yeah, I hear you.
The Patreon is still, thank you to all of my patrons out there, me and Becky's patrons out there. You guys are great. Our stuff is still going to CASA. All of our patronage goes to CASA right now, and I think we're going to do that until the end of the year. I think till the end of the year, all of our patronage goes to CASA. I think here pretty soon I'm going to be doing some more cool things over on the Patreon. In the Discord, we've gotten a lot of new people in the Discord, which has been really cool. Thank you, Raging Vapor. Thank you. It was one of our moderators, and thank you, Matt.
Jason. He prefers Jason. Made that very clear.
Did he make that very clear?
Just busting his balls, but
I'm gonna call him Raging Jason.
Let's just call him Raging J. Maybe a little something J. Raging J.
But yeah, you guys were great this last week with the influx of people. So yeah, that's really all I've got.
I guess I'll probably have a vape box video that'll go up. I try and get in the Discord when I can. I try and keep up with news just through websites, and then obviously Twitter is its own. I could spend fucking all day and all night trying to keep up with people, articles, replies. The rally is coming up. What is that? That's in November. Is it
November 9th?
November 9th from 12 to 4.
I am unable to make it.
To be honest, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it either.
Yeah, I am unable to make it. I apologize. I had every intention of going and waiting on when they would release the date. It's my little one's birthday the day before. So there's no way that I can be up here. My cats are fighting. Sorry. There's no way that I can be up here for that and the party that we have planned and do all that and then make it down to DC by noon the next day. I just physically can't do that. So I apologize. I had every intention of renting a car and going down to DC for a few days and being there for the rally. If they had done it the weekend after, I would be there. But it's just where it fell.
I guess it's kind of like a wrapping up here. Don't stop calling, don't stop writing, emailing, all that to your own state officials or other states. Keep calling the White House. Keep doing what you do.
Never thought I would have the White House in my phone.
Never. No.
Like saved into my phone as the White House. I never thought that day would come. And
to whoever's here, I know a lot of people are using it, but just keep hashtagging. I've heard rumors of Twitter, silencing.
We're bots.
Yeah,
also.
we're bots.
We're all
bots
bots.
as well.
We're all bots.
Bite,
I'm a bot.
You can bite my metal ass.
Yeah. Beep, boop, beep.
Yeah. As far as shameless plugs, check us out on Twitter, Instagram. Twitter's the main action zone. Above and below, both of us. Check Logan out on SoundCloud. I dropped that earlier. And if you're not there, get in the Discord. Message Logan, myself, Raging Jay, our good boy Raging Jay. Get in there.
You say good boy like he's a Doberman or something.
Our good boy Raging Jay. A little pat on the head for Raging Jay. Yeah, we got a bunch of people in there now. What are we over? We're well over 50. I want to say we're over 80.
We're over 80.
We're over
80 members in the
Discord. Awesome. Different sections in there. If you're not in there, we all jump in voice box occasionally. We have so many people from so many different time zones. It's hard to really get everyone to line up. If you're some people are in bed. Some people are just getting up. All that kind of stuff. But
yeah, we have people from Australia. We have people from the UK. We have people from all across America. I think that's it. I think we may have one person in our Discord. I think that might be from Germany.
Just keep yourself in the penalty box. Yeah. And it may sound kind of corny, and I think I may have said this the last time we did a live stream. The only thing above fear is hope. And I know there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear state to state. There's a lot of fear overall. But I truly believe in hope. Everybody's been saying it. The science is on our side. Vaping is not going to go away. Will it get 1,000,000 more times difficult? Yeah, likely. The road is going to be a shit road, shit mountain, whatever you want to call it.
God damn it, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Americans are very good at navigating prohibition.
And exactly. And that's my definition of a harder road. But, we have a lot of good people in the community. If people have the will to quit and they just want to reach out, everybody and anybody will likely help them. So keep fighting a good fight. Stay having that hope. And, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and we'll do that little thing.
We're doing the thing?
We're doing the thing. Pinky up for the thing.
Pinky out, everybody. Much love. Take care.